great sign from them. Can BESTIA find a counter with this force?
It's a good question. Imperial coming out swinging, coming out confident. That's the best tone setter they could have asked for. Aggression all the way through CT spawn, letting one player save maybe is a bit of a statement more than anything. I will say as an aside, Boggs, it's best to get the technical issues out early. We've had to endure some ludicrous ones in other broadcasts, so anything that short is more than welcome. Iron starts things off right, though, on this force spy, doubling down with the MP9. Descenti descends down below with his teammate ahead of him, but still, it's only 3 AKs remaining, and a player already rotating down in Tomasin. This is a very deadly pistol at this range, but he spams a little too aggressively. Descenti survives, gets the bomb to dirt. It's still anybody's round, though. The Galil has been recovered from Iron. This player back of sight, Descenti, is marooned and alone. The nade does so much damage. He'll still find one before finally falling. Noxie on the scout gets one. Recovers a deagle, but Phelps picks up where his teammate left off, finding another and tying it up. Myron now, with that Galil in hand, has to do a lot. He's found the first. He knows the seconds and vents, but they don't have a kit. They have to go for the old-fashioned 10-second stick, and instead they'll just tap it. They'll fake. Penny spotted, gets one, tags the second, and the time is nigh. Myron does get the kill. Not enough time for the defuse, though, and on 2 HP, I'm not sure he'll survive at the back of ramp here.
He might be fine behind the box here. Nope. He done. Toast.
Nuke on CS2. Cruel.
Yep. Nuke in general is always pretty bad. Oh, actually, I mean, it wasn't that bad over at the B ramp. Behind the orange box, you could survive a lot back there. But yeah, Nuke on CS2. You gotta be somewhere very far away. Actually, with 2 HP, the only spot you might be able to survive is the back of spawns.
I'm not even sure about CT spawn given that plant.
Yeah. I think it might only be T-spawn all the way in the back there. It's
Actually,
pretty brutal.
It feels much more vertical than it is horizontal, though. It feels like a cylinder more than a circle.
Which makes kind of sense, you know? I mean, if you're underground, it's not going to expand as much underground with the ground and all of that earth around you. It's going to go the easiest way up.
It might, I mean, you might survive CT spawn. I don't know the exact numbers, and all I know is that it's ludicrous compared to what it once was. Again, we're having some technical issues, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, we're back on cams. Hopefully these will be rectified sooner rather than later, but it is indeed BESTIA again winning a round by the skin of their Imperial, Imperial winning a round by the skin of their teeth. Again, not even one player surviving. They fell with the bomb. BESTIA getting so close to winning a round, still not able to get across the line. That means they'll be on a save in round 3, all but certainly. Maybe some pistols, but even that I'm doubtful of. They'll probably try to save and then get an op going forward for Noxie. Looks pretty crisp with that scout there, finding a kill onto the player back of sight. We're right back into the action. They actually go for a force by BESTIA.
That was my question. Do they get goaded into this? I don't like this at all.
I don't know either. It's a 2v5 at this point. Deco has half HP. Myron has nothing. There's no kit. There's no smoke. There's no nothing. They should be saving these guns at this point. The question is, will Imperial let them? They have a player all the way through ramp. That's Descenti. Sure, he's on low HP, but I'd imagine he's rather keen on dropping these rifles, or this rifle and potentially second weapon on Deco.
Yeah, saving this M4, the AK, critical for the CT side. The CT economy is always under the gun. And on a map like Nuke, you need that extra utility. You need the kit. You need that extra help. And it's so hard to get that when you're buying round in, round out. Keep on forcing. Luckily for BESTIA, Imperial are going the opposite way. Both teams will sit in their respective spawns. So the guns will move over for BESTIA and for Imperial as well. Their most successful clean round, only losing one in Descenti. Still keeping the 2 Galils and the AK in hand is going to be good for the T economy, which has not been allowed to grow too much given the early casualties suffered in round 2. But now in round 3, this is prime time for Imperial to really stabilize things in their T half, Nate. Get to 4, and then if they shut down that first actual gun round, which comes almost to the halfway point of the first half, it's a smooth sailing finish for Imperial and just establish the stranglehold on T. Vinny's going to run through and get 2? How does he get Myron? Descenti's flash, pristine apparently, because nobody saw anything at all. He's just able to run through and get 2. Deco, in the meantime, will trade back a pair, and this makes it a little bit scary now for Imperial. A bomb working its way down secret stairwell. Descenti outside. Timing favors him. Noxie caught. The jig is up now. The flames burning Descenti, but they are his own teammates. Deco caught in rotation. Tomazin, no way into this round. He's watched on the stairwell. They'll know where he's coming from. Descenti spotted and spots out Tomazin. Whack-a-mole time for the stairs player. Spraying away. Help is there, but not needed. Descenti gets the finishing blow. And there's 4 in a row for Imperial. They save their AKs, only lose 2. But that initial double from Descenti, or rather from Vinny. The flash from Descenti blinds the 2 in Mini. That was incredible work on the entry, and it would not have been possible without that flash.
Flash was critical and instrumental. Deco as well up in heaven just stops his spray, assumes he got the kill, and yet that was not the case. He righted his wrongs by finally finding it afterwards, peeking out through hell, but from there the damage was pretty much done. So much control for Imperial, that brief 2-man advantage. I'm very surprised that we didn't see a save of the AK in the dying embers of that round. No real chance in a 1v3, but I guess if you can buy rifles in the next round comfortably enough, then you can at least try to do some damage. I can respect that kind of call, I suppose. Regardless, Bestia do have rifles. They have an AUG on Tomazin, who's doubling down. Noxie has his op, and there's an M4s on the remainder. Meyer, Deco, and Luchov. 2 A1Ss and an A4. The op of Noxie, a rare miss in the last player. Vinny, this round is a very succinct one for Bestia, as their rifle round does put them in the winner's column. 4 surviving as well does miracles for the CT economy, can help them begin to stabilize, but Imperial aren't done just yet. They have a big green wonder stick of their own in Henny's capable hands. We'll see AKs across the board as well, unless somebody wants to get crafty with a Krieg.
I love seeing the Krieg come out when it can. Would not be opposed to that here. Doesn't seem to be the case, though. Just that Galil for Vinny. The big green zoom banger for Vinny, or for Henny, rather. And across the leg, or box shot, actually, from Noxie. And that's going to be a spicy little start for Bestia. They don't know yet. And Henny gets caught by Noxie on the second time of asking. There we are. Opening pick for Bestia, and maybe Phelps to get caught as well. It's all down to timing, and it favors the Brazilian. Deco in the meantime. Domes Descenti, Noxie aggressive, and Tomazin comes in for the last 2 kills. Mop up duty for Bestia, and they sweep away Imperial. That lead, the money, it's gone into the rubbish bin. Bestia 2 straight confident victories, and the op in Noxie's hands. Tomazin coming in, Deco aggressive, the outer yard control just puts a kibosh on Imperial's plans, and they might be thinking about trying something new once the guns come out, which will not be here in round 7. Pistols only for Imperial, not even a bit of utility or Kevlar. Deagle on 2, P250 on 2, no way on a Glock. And this is save city for the T side. Nade goes high. There's a little bit of chip. No, it doesn't actually. No way. It was Phelps who took a little bit of damage elsewhere on the map. And the howl in the hands of Luchov.
Imperial playing very aggressive and with much gusto, but it's the individuals who are trying to do it all, and it's being punished by that team play from Bestia, which you mentioned in the pregame. The op trying to peek all the way around back red, misses a shot, instantly punished by the peek from Noxie. Phelps pushing in through the smoke in towards Gremlin, immediately caught in towards Mini. Another technical issue, ladies and gentlemen. It's unfortunate, but at least they're brief. But again, back to my point. Imperial playing individually aggressive and confident, whereas Bestia are playing a team game. They're flashing, they're peeking off contact, they're covering each other's 6s, and that's what's giving them the X factor. That's what's giving them these confident, one-sided rounds. They'll lose a player here and there to a timing, say on Phelps pushing through that smoke over towards Mini, but that's at 1 kill, whereas the response is swift and it is overbearing from Bestia.
Yeah, Bestia playing a really good team game with the guns in hand. The question, though, how many rounds do they limit Imperial to? And then secondly, what do they have on the T side? Because sure, they might even get an 8-4 half out of CT, but if they cannot get 4-5 rounds on their T side, they won't be able to win the map. And that's what it all comes down to. Right now, they have some good signs. They're looking strong. The individuals are firing, but the team play is looking perfect, which is exactly what I expect from Bestia. And for Imperial, well, they're going too aggressive too individually. The flashbang setup, the MP9 run, how well did that work out with that coordination? Perfectly. They a little more of that, a little less gung-ho gusto, as you said. And well, there's a 3-4 scoreline now. It was just the pistols. But here's where things actually get real here. Guns are out for Imperial again. Utility a little sparse, though. Only 2 HEs and a Molotov on 3 players. 3 flashes, 2 smokes. That's it. Barely any util for Nuke, but Descenti the taps onto Deco will open up some space for Imperial to exploit. And Noxy, too. This is where the individuals, particularly a man with a 2.0 KD at 12 and 6, 8 rounds into the game, comes into play.
Senti's ascending to the top of the scoreboard. 12, as you mentioned. Kind of snuck his way up there, in my opinion. Myron trying to limit the bleeding, trying to stem the bleeding, finds nothing. Henny finds him. Phelps drops loot top. The last is Tomazin. He has an AK, a one-shot headshot, a first secured, a second spotted, but Vinny's crouch dodges the bullets. Good trade from him. And a confident response at long last from Imperial off the back of, again, individual performances. Descenti, very solid to find a pair of opening kills which go unanswered. Additionally, he wins a duel versus the op of Noxy. You cannot rely on that consistently.
No, you can't, nor should you expect to win that consistently, especially against an offer of Noxy's caliber. There's still plenty of money for Bestia given their success in their 3-round streak, but they have come to the end of their bank accounts, Nate. There's still a little residual cash for Imperial to grab a critical 5th. They're 1 away from at least securing a half scoreline at 6-6, worst case scenario, which would be phenomenal for any T-side on Nuke. My Iron Spray doesn't find anything. It's a very slow and methodical round from Imperial this time. They set up their utility, in they go. Deco only good for 1. Phelps with a double entry. 2 crisp headshots. The man with a 1.48 impact coming alive, finally shut down. Noxy eats the HE, takes a shot as Luchov goes 1 for 1. Noxy punished, and Vinny and Descenti combine for the last 2. There is the finisher and the 6th on the board for Imperial. A bit of a slide once the guns came out for Bestia, but then the individuals woke up. But Imperial made a critical adjustment, Nate. They started the buddy system. They started going together. They started flashing in, making sure they were getting their trades.
They went for a set piece. They put their Kingmakers as the second men in. That's Phelps specifically in that round, finding a double entry off the back of a trade. Imperial prioritizing their play solidly. It's not the most fanciful and in-depth Counter-Strike, but it's a set piece that requires a lot of practice, and it shows that they are ready to go for that kind of play if necessary. They break Bestia's economy, back to pistols. The thing that worried me the most in that round, though, is Noxy. 2 missed op shots. I get it. The verticality makes it a little bit difficult, but still, 2 shots that probably should have connected 9 times out of 10, and 2 in a row, no less.
2 in a row. Great entries. And when you find a player in form, it's hard to stop him. You can't give him any leeway at all. No way this time on the double entry. Triple entry. How many, I mean, it's against pistols, but still, how many multi-entries have we seen from Imperial here? No Way is still alive and kicking as well, as Noxy is the last man standing. But these kills in bunches, these kills in bulk, are something that are going to significantly favor Imperial as this map goes on, as this series continues forward. Inferno map 2, folks, with Decider being overpass. This is the pick of Imperial. Apologies for the bugs. Apparently there's been a lot of crashing happening since the last update. Another timeout used by Bestia here to talk things over, Nate. So they have the guns back in hand, but they've lost the half at the very least, with a 9-3 half at the very worst. Only 3 on the CT side. Even 5 can be considered a death sentence.
Yeah, and especially for a team like Bestia, where we talk about it ad nauseum, where it's not necessarily an individual going hard. It's all about the team play. That works really well on the CT side. It can be a little bit more difficult to get the ball rolling on the T side unless you have a very robust strategy plan in mind. And for a map like Nuke for Bestia, a map they don't play too often, they've not played in something like, 2 months, maybe 2.5 months even. It's a map that maybe they don't have the kind of redundancies, the kind of depth required. So they're feeling the pressure. 2 or 3 timeouts used on the CT side. Hopefully they can rein things in, stem the bleeding, and at least get 5. But if not, I feel like Imperial will send us off very swiftly to Inferno. Yeah,
Inferno might be coming hot and fast here, Nate, because This first half has already been incredibly successful for Imperial. Luchov playing around Africa will get the opener, but he's spotted and he's kind of in a one and done with no support here. Minimal utility at 4 pieces left this early into the round. That's exactly what you expect to happen. The punish comes in from no way. 4v4. Now Bestia trying to aggress, but look at the positioning from Imperial, waiting for these pushes, knowing that Bestia will have to get aggressive at some point here, given the lack of space they can control. Now, Bestia know that Imperial are probably waiting. And so they back off after getting a little bit of info. But Imperial waiting back hut, setting up for a take, plenty of utility, all the advantages in the world currently.
I
They'll
love
have
that
to
as
make
well.
a move soon.
They're going to make a move shortly. Molotov dropped the deco, though, and the boost up Mustang is critical. They knew there were 2 on the floor proper. Will they expect this boost back up in heaven? I don't think so. This might be the exact they need. They heard the player backside. Good shot from Vinny. They will clear it. Noxie, though, still finds 2 before falling. What they needed to stay in this round, Bestia, but they need more. Still a 2 versus 2. Make it a 1 versus 2. No way. Locking Tomazin out of the round. Leaving just Meyer. Veteran. 1 versus 2 against an op holding the cross and a player on site, but he swings before the smoke blooms. That is a critical one to find. Now Henny's op feels awkward. It feels unwieldy, and Meyer quickly, without hesitation, going towards heaven. Will Henny expect the timing on this one? There is no kit. Meyer needs to pick up the pace.
He's got about 10 seconds to do it, and Henny is playing passive. He knows what he needs to do. The bomb is planted relatively for him. Meyer's got to run around. No kit on the ground.
No time.
Time is gone. He's got to run. And Henny's still holding. Op in hand. He knows what's coming. He will not miss that punishing kill. 8-3 for Imperial. And a 9-3 possible, and I would say likely, given the scrappy bind which Bestia will be able to muster here. Their economy so far in the bin. Their third and final timeout of this map has been used. They've only managed a 3-round streak, a flash in the pan.
It was 3 in a row. Once they got the rifles out, they had a brief flicker of hope. They got 3 in a row. They broke the economy. They actually look quite solid, but from there, Imperial, the individuals, set this up as an individual versus team play-oriented game. Imperial feels almost diminishing to call them the team of individual prowess, but you really can't knock it given Descenti's individual performance, the amount of multi-frags on entries. Sure, they have strategy and an overall set piece in mind, but for the most part, it has been the individuals that have starstruck the server in this one.
And speaking of the individuals, Nate, the man you highlighted for Bestia in the pre-show, Luchov, 4 and 9, 34 ADR. The man's gone ghost when they need him most. They'll need him for Inferno for sure, because I'm almost ready to chalk this map up for Imperial at this point, unless Bestia have one of the greatest T sides I've ever seen on Nuke. It just looks like Imperial are indomitable the way they've been playing. The double peaks, the buddy system. How do you stop the multi-frags on trades? Okay, 2 people peek, they get 2 people. Maybe it's a 2-for-1. Imperial will take that any day of the week. Full ramp control, despite losing no way early. Lots of space here for Imperial to exploit, as they will move around, figure out the proper direction to go.
They have ramp,
this
they have
crunch
Africa.
Up ramp could be something critical.
Imperial have been given so much control. They had to know something's up. Bestia really aggressing ramp, as you mentioned. MP9 taking point, and Tomazini's lucky to be alive. They'll actually get 1 before falling, at least. Descenti taken down. Tomazin still kicking, but Henny then drops the compatriot. Tomazin, a niche angle, and it does pay off. The op looking the wrong direction. 4 versus 2 off the back of that MP9. Vinny and Phelps now, the last one's in the yard. Good damage from Phelps. That fire will burn Luchov alive, unless he can stay alive in this corner. Phelps knows exactly where he is. Surely, there's the kill. Dead to rights at long last. But with only 30 seconds left, Imperial have to make a move.
2 long-standing Brazilian players, Phelps and Vinny, into a 2v1, Nate. This was a 4v2. It's a 1v1. Oh, the 6 HP on Tomazin is such a factor here. He's making all the noise in the world. If he mollies Cubby, he can win the round, but he's not going to. He's creeping forward. Vinny has to check his angles. Time is of the essence. Tomazin walks in. Headshot delivered by Vinny. A 9-3 half for Imperial as we head to the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Imperial, a domineering start on their own map pick of Nuke. Could very well see us off to Inferno sooner rather than later. A lot hinges on this pistol round for the likes of BESTIA. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the mic. BESTIA, a similar play to Imperial in the pistol, albeit with much less confidence, a much more slow and trepidatious pace as they push in the yard. 2 up close towards mini, 2 back red, a flash out to try and facilitate some peeks, but the Glocks at range are going to struggle. Vinny, though, not forcing the issue, instead dropping down, playing towards Z-Hall, waiting for BESTIA to try and walk in. Tomazin, though, slips the gap. He's up top. Vinny will look for Mine. The shadow will betray him, and Vinny's shot will not miss. A good start, but will he expect the second? The answer is a very swift no. Tomazin, a good trade. Phelps at range with the duel. He just can't quite get the shots in. He'll do damage, but he won't get the outright kill. An awkward spot to be in now as BESTIA race down towards V. Are Imperial prepped to rebuke this take? I'm not so sure.
It's a nice little headshot at range with those dualies for Phelps. Luchov going aggressive up towards ramp to try and hold the line, knowing they are down on players and now down to 0. Henny in no way come through for the final kills. And that was about as easy of a retake as you will see. 0 casualties, only 1 on the overall round for Imperial. Now they're up to double digits incredibly fast. You said it was a trepidatious pistol round for BESTIA, and I was thinking to myself, Nate, well, I would be too. I would be very scared of running into anybody from Imperial the way they were bullied in that first half. And the way that round ended just seemed to cement that fact. Imperial dominating individually. And BESTIA have had 0 to answer with.
Yeah. BESTIA struggling across the board. They know the pressure's on at this point. They have no timeouts to get any breathing room either. It's going to be straight play from here on out unless Imperial want to slow things down. I don't think they're going to be keen on slowing anything down given how things have gone thus far. They might even want to speed things up with some aggression on this CT side, perhaps. BESTIA, on the back of the bomb plant, though, can go for a force buy. A Galil, Mac 10s, Tech 9, and a Deagle for a little bit of luck sprinkled in, but Imperial still a far better investment, far better prospects as well. 3 A1Ss, an AUG, and a FAMAS. I love seeing the AUG come out to play, especially on this map.
Look at the util, though, Nate. Just a smoke and a flash left with a $1.15 on the clock. It's a lot of time that they'll have to kill. Imperial, they have the firepower advantage. They have the individual prowess advantage from what we've seen in this map so far. But Nate, the question is, will they avoid getting overwhelmed by Mac 10s rushing at them, Tech 9s flying through, the classic Deagle one-shot? Get hit with a 1D, gun gets picked up, can change the whole scope of a round. Henny has a lot to do on the catwalk down on B. If he gets lucky and has to deal with a Mac 10 first at this range, would be pretty helpful. Vicenti's going to get mollied off as well with that AUG. Both doors mollied on ramp. Still an angle, good flash in, but Henny has one, Phelps has another. Tomazin at least does trade out with that Galil. Going aggressive on the ramp as 2 players make their way through. No Way takes him down. Vinny making his way through the vents as Noxie falls in turn. It's all down to Myron. The bomb can be defused. Vinny will not. He will get spotted? Now he will get spotted for sure. But what can Myron really do? They know exactly where he is now. Easiest defuse of Imperial's career. 11-3, Nate. It is time to get ready for Inferno because this map is all but over.
You know, it's a desperately bad situation when you're saving a Tech 9 with armor and a post mine.
Uh-huh.
The going can't get worse, is what I'm saying at this point. The going is actually
going... They could be saving Glock, I guess, but...
No. You don't even save that. There's just no way. That's beyond the pale. That's you know. Regardless, BESTIA will have a little bit of extra cash, and they've saved some Kevlar. That means we can see a little bit of a splurge. You have 2 AKs and 3 2 AKs, 3 Galils, a little bit of utility, enough to do something. But again, Imperial have looked better individually. They've been confident on the CT side. Their setups have yet to be really harassed or figured out by BESTIA. And if BESTIA is out of time, they have to find wins now and not let off the gas. Imperial, though, not going to let that happen. Especially with Phelps sitting in towards Secret, No Way up in heaven. This feels like an impregnable defense.
And maybe even a Mustang Heaven crossfire, because Henny's up in heaven. No Way's walking over to Mustang. This does look pretty impregnable here on A. What do you do? Second vents, this hut angle for No Way, Henny up top, No Way also playing anti-flash. There's a double from Phelps in secret. Now the three are going to try to explode onto A. No Way denies the first and second entries. And Deco, the last outside. What can he do? Spotted by Phelps. Vinny will peek and put the finishing touch on that round. Phelps sent the molly out inspecting. AK's picked up. And one more round for Imperial here before map number 1 is salted away. And we said that Bestia would need a pretty strong map number 1, Nate. We got to see the exact opposite from the Argentine squad here. Inferno needs to be a different story, regardless of whether it's close or a completely disparate scoreline as we see here and now. If they want to make it to a third map overpass, they will need to win Inferno. But the way that Imperial is playing, they can carry this sort of individual and double peak kind of play over to map 2. It's going to be a tough road for Bestia moving forward. And here's the AUG for Decenti, about to get tested here as that smoke will fade. He'll let him know what's there, though. And he has a Molotov, too, to hold off a push and wait for rotates. It's a good opening pick there for Decenti. Tomazin, the one to fall. And the fact that Decenti actually gets out of there, he's still a threat. We'll have to clear him out. Noxy lurking out of hut, spots out Vinny. And he'll just retreat, trying to make sure nobody's pushing in through lobby behind him. Decenti gets a second and a third! You cannot allow these multi-frags! A man with a one-shot HP count! Myron doubles up, but the damage has been done. So many times we have seen Imperial from positions such as Decenti, no HP, finding ways to get 2 kills, 3 kills. If you're Bestia, you cannot allow that to happen. That keeps happening. You are going to lose rounds. You are not going to be able to keep an economy. You're not going to be in rounds. You should be at least somewhat close in. Henny and Vinny with the mop-up job on the site, and Imperial will finish the round and the map 13-3. An absolute